Hello, fabulous Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2014 General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, last month ended with a very powerful new moon that took place, and that's actually the energy that you are carrying into this month. And you are bringing into this month an energy where you are focused on your foundations. You're thinking about where it is that you stand and if you like the ground on which you are. Now, this particular new moon is pretty potent, okay, and is bringing some really important understandings, radical understandings in some cases, that really free you from the past. And for those students of astrology out there, it is taking place on an important angle, which means it's speaking very personally to you. And it's also speaking with Pluto moving through your sign. All of this, you put it together, and it does suggest that this is a time when you are really having breakthroughs in your understanding of what home is going to mean to you and what family is going to mean to you as well. I do think the likelihood as you're starting this month, at the very end of March or in the very early days of April, the chance of a family member needing your attention, in some cases very dramatically so, sort of waving their hands and saying, please pay attention to me, please love me. That type of situation is likely to manifest. I also think that you are going to realize that your home, your physical home, is more a fortress of solitude than you realized, and a fortress of protection and a fortress of safety. In fact, I do think that the likelihood of you just having a deep appreciation that this is your home is very likely now, and it is an honest expression of you. Now, this is part of a long-term trend that's actually emphasized right now, because this particular moon is in the sign of Aries, swimming quite close to Uranus, which throughout this decade is going to be in the sign of Aries as well. What you also have in the very early days of April, for those students of astrology out there, the very early days of April, you also have the sun meeting Uranus. You put all this together, there's a lot of energy of change. There's a lot of energy of dramatic realizations. Uranus, after all, is the planet of revelation and realizations and revolutions as well. And this is all happening on a level of where you live, on a level of your foundations, and on a level of just feeling at home within yourself and within your own skin. As part of this energy, usually people tend to manifest the need or desire to spend time on your own. So there is going to be a level there where you feel like you want some isolation, you want some independence, but more than that, you just want to be in the privacy of your own thoughts, enjoying your own company. And I think that this actually is going to end up being incredibly empowering, and is going to help you to understand not only yourself, but also many different areas of life and what they're going to mean to you, from you, your identity, to your relationships, to your career. All of it is being touched on throughout this month. At the beginning of the month, it's about your foundations. In the middle of the month, the energy shifts, and I think for a lot of you, it's going to come very quickly, where all of a sudden you realize, okay, all the stuff on the home front is okay. It's taken care of. You know, you met your responsibilities, you were there when you were asked to be there, and you were a source of clarity where you were asked to be, which is what I'm seeing, your dominant role within your family in the early part of the month. However, in the middle of the month, we have an eclipse taking place, and it is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Now, what's very interesting about this eclipse is it's in the part of the sky for you that has to do with your career. It has to do with achievement and success. It is a full moon eclipse. What that means is, ultimately, full moons are about fruition, they're about endings, they're about release. When it is an eclipse, those endings, that release tends to happen rather quickly and tends to happen by surprise. However, I think the surprise element to this is going to be a little bit downplayed. And the reason that I say that is this particular eclipse is not having any major classical conversations with other players in the sky, any power players anyways. And this to me suggests that there's an element here of something that you already know. There's an element here of you sort of having felt it, having known it. Maybe it was even said to you very clearly. But now comes the time when you accept it. Now comes the time when you finally see what's been staring you in the face. And what I'm seeing with this is an important understanding of where your success is and where it is not. Also, along with this, because there's such a personal element to this, it seems to be a shift in you, a shift in your goals, a shift in what it is that you're aiming for, and the likelihood of you sort of achieving a goal that is very personal, that is very much about what it is that you have wanted to achieve. Maybe not a lot of fanfare. Maybe you've already achieved this and have already had a measure of success in at least one area of life, but it's you that has to come to the appreciation that you did that, and it's done, and it's been accomplished, and now you can be grateful for it, and you can let it go so that something new can come, especially where it comes to your career. It does look like the likelihood for some of you out there, you may be experiencing a change in supervisors or boss, because sometimes an eclipse in this area does bring about sort of a surprise announcement from an authority figure that they are leaving. And so if that is something that may be happening for you, that is certainly a very strong possibility. The other thing that is also a possibility is if you want to be a boss, then the likelihood of you seeing where that is actually meant to manifest for you, but more importantly, where it isn't, will also become clear. Where maybe you thought you wanted to achieve a certain goal, but now that you're close or now that you're on the path, all of a sudden you realize, okay, wow, this really isn't what I want. I want my success in a whole other area. Well, you're going to embrace that. You're going to be open to that as well. But again, I keep stressing, this particular eclipse, I believe, is largely personal. It doesn't look like, even though with these changes coming, I do think that this is sort of a long time coming. I do think the messages have been there for a while, but maybe it was you that didn't want to see them before. Ultimately, an eclipse, if you think about the symbolism of an eclipse, it is light that is visible, and all of a sudden it becomes dark, and then the light re-emerges. And so it is a symbol of you having something in front of you, and then all of a sudden seeing it again from a different perspective, or acknowledging it finally because you are ready to do so. So there are changes happening on the career front. There are changes happening on the home front as well. It is a month that reaches to your foundations, but also your aspirations. You are making moves, you are making changes, and you certainly are on a path of greater success. And this shift, these understandings are going to make that pathway that much clearer. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.